My name is Pete Raimondi. I'm a professor in the Department of Ecology and Evolutionary Biology here at UC Santa Cruz. I mainly concentrate on nearshore marine ecology, including rocky intertidal and kelp forest. Yeah. So over the last few years, what we've seen has been a change in terms of a number of attributes. The first thing probably the period of time that you're interested in is about 2013. 2013, we saw a die-off of sea stars. Almost every species of sea star died off at that point, including a really important star, which is Pycnopodia, the big sunflower star. Soon thereafter, there was a die-off of other sea stars, and really soon after that, we started seeing the emergence of purple urchins in particular, meaning that they had come out of their cracks and crevices or refuge areas, and they came out and were much more apparent than they had been in the past. And following that, in certain locations, not all locations, there was a change in terms of the kelp community itself. Kelp largely went away for a little while, not everywhere, but certainly down in the Monterey area, less so in Santa Cruz, and very much so up in Northern California, where a different species of kelp, the bull kelp, went almost completely gone for a period of time. And that was in the last 2 to 3 years. What happens with purple urchins, and urchins in general, is that they're herbivores, and they primarily, around here, they primarily eat algae that is drifting into their cracks and crevices. That is the byproduct of the growth of algae, and since the most common algae around here typically is kelp, it's mostly kelp. When kelp gets rarer, then they come out, and because they're hungry, and they start eating everything, including the remaining kelp. That's what we call going rogue. They've changed their normal behaviors and go rogue and form these feeding fronts and start mowing down everything. So what's happened over the last few years has been that a combination of things. One is purple urchins largely came out of cracks and crevices, we think, because of sea stars going away. At the same time, there has been, as you know, there's been some change in the water temperature. We had a warm blob, and then there was an El Nino event, and so warm water is strongly associated with decreased nutrients. Decreased nutrients for a plant is bad news, and so kelp became less common. Urchins had less to eat, and then they really started going rogue and mowing down the remaining kelp. It's different from a lot of systems where the scaling is smaller, perhaps, maybe a reef scale. If you're interested in a particular reef, let's say you're just interested for diving reasons or for some other reason to restoring a reef that might be a few acres in size, sure, you can do that. But if you're talking about a region, it's just not an effective way to go about it. The solution to almost all these things is cold water, and cold water does two things. It brings in nutrients, but it also then causes the kelp to grow. When kelp grows, urchins get satiated because there's food to eat, and so things can return. The real concern is not whether we can do anything, but whether, because we can't, but the real concern is that we will have another oceanographic event that's bad, a warming event in particular, before the system has a chance to return to its previous state. The key thing really is to figure out what is causing these episodes to occur. And we know it's warm water, but whether those are going to be much more regular events because of change that occurs more on a global scale, we don't really know. So I think the key thing really is to understand whether this is the future, meaning these episodes of bad conditions, or whether it is not. If it is the future, then clearly the key thing is to change things on a global scale that will change the frequency of these bad events, if at all possible.